Hey guys, thanks again. Welcome again to Keep Moving Forward, a series by Carlos Dones. Today, I have one of my best friends online, my brother, my friend, another mentor of mine, Lucas Mack. And let me tell you a little bit about Lucas. Lucas just is an overall great human being, and that's who you are, Lucas. And podcast, The Golden Rule Revolution, an amazing podcast. You guys can listen. Fourth Avenue Media director, producer, media guy. He does it all. He's even done videos for me. He's an amazing guy, former reporter, and has been on stage, TED Talk. Thanks for showing up, Lucas. I love you, man, and I appreciate you for being here.
I love you too, brother. It's an honor. Thank you for having me.
Got it. So you know why we're here. We're here today to talk about the mindset. You know,
Yes.
We're going through this incredible time in the history of humankind, right? Where everybody's literally at home, right? It's ironic because a lot of people are at work and they're like, God, I wish I could stay home. Today, people are like, man, I wish I could be at work, right? So,
yeah.
Right? The reason I wanted you to come on is to share a little bit about your mindset. What does it take? First of all, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got to where you are today, what are you doing, and then we'll get into a little bit of the mindset. Let us talk to us there, Lucas.
Well, brother, I'm truly, my deepest heart's desire is to see people heal. Is to see people heal. I believe that hurt people, but healthy people heal people. And healing isn't just a physical or an emotional process. It's also a psychological process. It's also a process of reclaiming time stolen. And what I mean by that is when we don't heal things of our past, our childhood, trauma, confusion, fear, pain, being bullied, feeling isolated, the list can go on and on and on. When we don't heal those past moments, that has actually robbed us of living the future and the present life that we deep down crave to live. Then what happens is people get a sense of frustration, or they can lose hope because they're trying to satiate that little buzzing voice that always says something's not right. And so we try to numb it out with media, alcohol, food, sports, whatever recreational thing that we consume to numb that voice out. But that voice is our innocent self saying, come back and heal me at that moment. Let's face this thing. You're not alone when we face trauma. So when we talk about mindset has so much to do with our behavior and our actions. Mm-hmm. But Solomon said, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And most of us think our thoughts are derived in our minds. But according to that proverb, it says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Now, what I share with people is everyone can align to when something triggers us as human beings, be it we think we're going to get fired at work, or someone attacks us, or social media right now is a great example of people getting attacked. I mean, I post something, people right. Like piranhas are like on this fleshy thing out there in the water. And when we get triggered, we're not getting triggered in our brain. If we're honest with ourselves, we're getting triggered in our body.
Yes, we are.
And where does that gripping usually take place? It takes place in our chest and our stomach, and people feel burning in their stomach, all that. My point is, our thoughts actually are viscerally engaged in the core of our body, in our heart.
Yes.
So when we feel fear, we will think fearful thoughts.
Yes.
When we feel safe, we'll think loving thoughts. And so, I mean, I can go on and on. I don't want to hog all this up, but helping people understand that there's a book, and let me say, there's a great book that I recommend everyone buying and reading, which is called The Body Keeps the Score.
The Body Keeps the Score. Great.
We'll
put that in the comments below.
Yeah, brother. And it's a book that says you don't need to look outside of yourself to know where you need healing. You just simply need to look at yourself, and your body is telling you there's more healing to take place. And that's a positive thing. When we have more healing, that's great, because that means more growth, more expansion, more elevation, more enlightenment, more goodness in our world. It's not that, oh, I have to heal. Oh, no, you get to heal. You don't have to do anything, but you get to do everything.
Got it. You know, I'm glad you brought this up. It kind of reminds me of like the flight or fight mentality, right?
Yes, yes.
So, you know, people, for example, you post something and somebody feels threatened, so they attack. That is the right, the flight, the fight mode, right? And then there's other people, you post stuff and they leave and they're like, oh, I don't want nothing to do with this. Because what's happening today, people, is that you're trying to hold on to this sense of false security that you have. Your 9 to 5, your house, your car. So when somebody threatens that, like, i.e., a Lucas Mack, he puts out a post and you feel threatened. I put a post like, I don't believe what you're saying, so you automatically attack me. You attack me, him. You attack thousands and millions of people. It's because you have this false sense of security that you're living on, and today that security is being tested.
Yes.
And what's happening is you're upset at people who are seeing the reality, who are willing to give up that security for a better future. And I think that that's what's going on, you know, and going back to the inner child, I think that a lot of people are so disconnected to that inner child that they're living in this present moment. They're not even living in the present. They're living either in the past or in the future. And they just don't know how to deal with that. They just disconnected from the fact that they need healing. So they're like, this guy doesn't like me because he posted something and 10,000 people liked it and 5 didn't. I'm going to hate him.
Yeah.
That doesn't work.
Right.
So, yeah, go ahead, Lucas.
You know, where we get triggered is a great example of where we need more healing.
Yep.
I mean, I grew up in incredibly dogmatic, fundamental evangelical home.
Okay.
And when people use religious narrative to me, it triggers me. I know that. So I have to pause, stop. And because if we go tit for tat scripture reference, okay, what good does that do? But my point is where we get triggered is where we get to experience the most growth. And so I'm aware of that for myself. Even I got a post today that accused me of basically being complicit of people's death and proponent of that, which is the most absurd thing to say to me, because I believe in life.
That's right.
I love life. I want to stand for all life. And what he did was use some scriptural references and trigger me. And so I had to take a step back instead of launching and go, you know, all that. Take a step back. All right. Where am I coming from? Do I want to help people? Do I want to speak? Yes. Okay. Well, then I respond in love. I respond in kindness. And the reality is, brother, talk about mindset and growth. If we had some sort of ability to write down on a piece of paper every single thing that you and I believe in as truth, and every person on planet Earth did the same thing, there would not be one person who has the exact same truth.
No, that would not happen.
There's not one person that has the exact same fingerprint. There's not one person who has the exact same eye retina, and there's not one person who has the exact same belief systems. So knowing that, talking about mindset, we have to do our own inner work, our own healing, our own affirmations, our own growth, so that we can finally stand in our own power and say, I can engage with you or disengage with you. I can detach or approach, but I am not going to get swept in some current of an emotional state to fire back emotional responses, because no one wins at that point.
That's right. So what you're saying, what I'm hearing you say is you have to be responsible. Take
Oh,
responsibility for yourself, be in
yes.
integrity for yourself. So, for example, if you believe in a certain thing, like for example, you and I, we're friends and we don't think the same on everything. Right?
Right.
We
We
agree upon a lot of things, but there's certain things that I don't agree with you and you don't agree with me. But I'm not gonna lash out on you. I'm gonna take responsibility and say, hey, you know what? Maybe Lucas has a point. Let me look into that. Although, even though I may not agree with you, I still should say, hey, let me look, let me step back, let me research that, let me find out, and then come back to him. So what you're
yes.
saying is, let's be responsible for our actions and what we say and how we think before we lash out. How much better would the world be if we did that?
It it would, and it would be amazing. First of all, it's the world we want to live in. Second of all, and thirdly, I will say this: that when did agreement become necessary for a relationship?
Amen.
Because I know the three ingredients. There are only three ingredients for a relationship to take place. You have to know someone, you have to like someone, and you have to trust someone. You can know and like someone, but if there's not trust, then there is no relationship. And what we have shortchanged ourselves on in society and humanity is calling knowing and liking someone because we agree a relationship. But if there's no trust, that is not a relationship. And I would rather know where someone stands firmly in their own beliefs that I can trust. Oh, this person's consistent showing up. He believes that. I have a variety of friends, all colors, all religions, all everything. And I love it because it helps me grow as a human being. I love where they came from. I just finished the Satanic Bible yesterday, cover to cover, read the whole thing. Glad I read it. Because now when I talk to someone who is an avowed Satanist or a Luciferian or wherever they want to come in, I can talk to them. I can relate to them. I can ask them honest questions. Do I have to agree with them? No. That's not relevant for a relationship. Trust must take place. So that is where I think we have confused in society agreement with trust as being the basis for relationship to take place.
So, Lucas, quick question. Do you think that, for example, let's go back to the Christian gentleman who sent you that post,
Yeah.
that lashing out that he did, would you say that's coming from fear or that's coming from confidence? Is that coming from his faith? Where do you think that's coming from?
I think it is coming from a presumed state of self-righteousness. And it might come from a presumed state of humility. However, I wanted to say, here's a PSA for the world. If you read anything on social media and take action on it, the blame isn't on the person who shared the post. The responsibility lies with you for
That's right.
taking the action.
That's
Stop
right.
being a victim and blaming information.
It's kind of like
Um,
Lucas. I'm sorry to interrupt you. It's kind of like back in the
go
day. I
for it.
remember when we were younger, when video games were really starting to explode, and they had
Yes.
like this machine, right, shooting and killing. And there were some kids. For those of you who don't know, back in the day, before these mass shootings, there was the video game killings. You remember that when they were
Oh
killing
yeah.
because
Yep.
they were
Yep.
so they were trying to blame the video game for
Yes.
the killings. And what we're saying is, yeah, the video game may incite a little bit of violence, but we cannot take responsibility. We can't put that responsibility, that burden on the person who uh, created that game. How about
Right.
the person who's actually gets the gun and goes and shoots somebody because they watched the video game? And I think
Yeah.
that's what you're talking about.
Yeah. That is. And here's the deal. Every person on planet Earth, I truly believe, all 7 point whatever billion people on this planet truly want to live in peace and harmony. Like, we all want to be loved. We all want to be known. We all want to be held. We all want to be affirmed. We all want to be told that we're okay and that we don't have to prove our worth or value or our abilities, that just for simply being is worthy to be loved. Now,
Yes.
that said, there are various means by which we approach our visions. And what I encourage people to do, instead of detracting and looking at other people and their visions, their content, Stay with your vision and your content. And there's a great photo that was shared with Michael Phelps swimming in the Olympics. And there was some other country, another swimmer was looking to see where Michael Phelps was. Focus on your own lane and win. Worry about other people, you lose.
That's right. That's a very, very, very good point. So Lucas, so now that we're here and you're saying all that, people are home. How about if people don't have a vision? How about if people don't have a mission? They don't have a passion. They don't know, because that happened to me. Like, what is my passion? Like, I struggle with it all the time. And even till today, I don't know what my passion is. All I know is that I love to help people. I love to get out and share what I know.
Yes.
So how do we get people to get off the couch from Netflix and have them start focusing on their passion, on their mission, on their gift to the world, their superpower?
I am about to launch a online course for this, because what you just asked, people that struggle with vision, mission, passion, purpose, their why, and there's many. One of my closest friends, been my close friend for 10 years, meet with them almost weekly, talk to him all the time, vacation with his family, really intelligent, successful guy. I talk, what's your why? I still don't know. And so this is a very crucial opportunity for people to overcome. I will say it like that. And here's what I'm teaching. Here's what I believe is a truth for every person. Our words are the most powerful tool in all of creation. And what makes a human being unique, I just want to be clear, because I love this earth. I love this planet. I love the ecosystem. I can be considered a hippie by some people. I mean, I can go real earthy.
You can.
I can get real earthy on people. Here's what I will say. We are the only species on this planet with the ability to articulate like we can from an idea to utterance, and it becomes a reality. This is incredibly profound. It doesn't even matter how powerful AI will ever get. It still cannot take an original idea, communicate, and create.
Well, all we have to do is look at the airplane, the iPhone, the computer, right? All these things that have been created, it started somewhere. It started there deep in somebody's mind.
Yes.
Regardless of what you feel about the people who created them.
Yeah, right. It started with an idea.
It started with an idea, and then you articulated it, and other people heard it, and they said, hey, you know what? How about this, and how about that? And then you have the iPhone.
Yes. Okay, so that's how powerful words can be. Now, I want people to think back to their childhood, and every painful word that was ever spoken to you by your parents, by your siblings, by your friends, and they said, you are, and then fill in the blank. Now, if we have the same power to create from idea to utterance, bring forth into reality, how powerful are people's words? What has it created inside us when we don't reject their narrative? We're not training children to say, I reject what you just called me. In fact, I not only reject it, I will declare my I am statements. I am good. I am lovely. I am wanted. I am beautiful. I am smart. I am powerful. And I reject whatever you just said, because it is not my truth. It can be your truth, and you have every right to utter it to me, but I will not let it land for me. So we have allowed ourselves to grow up in bodies still tethered as a child's soul and spirit to those wounding words. And when we don't reject them out of us, they become part of us. So people's internal dialogue is, I'm stupid, I'm this, I'm that, I'm just, dang it, why do I do that? I'm so blank, blank, blank. I did it again. I'm such a blank, blank, blank. Well, I guarantee you 100% not one human came into the earth with that narrative as a child being birthed from their mother's womb.
No, nobody did.
No one did. However, getting back to the original point that our voices are the most powerful forms of creation in the world, if we don't reject painful rhetoric and narrative that was spoken to us as children and even adulthood and whenever, those words that were painful essentially have choked our throats to the point where people don't know how to speak and be calm in oneself and just dialogue and discuss, because we're so afraid that the words that were said will come again and even harder and harsher.
Got it.
So that's why I said I get triggered with religious rhetoric, because I grew up in an abusive, insane abusive home. And then it was used with religious, mixed with religious rhetoric. Well, that triggers me from those times as a child, right? So here's what I want to just land this point is it's one thing to reject someone's painful words that were said to you, but the second step that follows it, you must declare what you are. And that's where vision comes from, because I think we don't speak our visions, have visions or passion, because we are afraid at some point when we try to express the fullness of ourselves and pain inserted itself into our core being. That's when we don't want to traumatize ourselves again. So we don't want to think again. We don't want to expand again. And we stay so small. And every person has the ability, opportunity, and privilege to heal those traumatic moments so that we really can live a life worth living, that we can live a life that the history books document about every person on planet Earth, that the history books talk about how loving these people were, how liberating these people were, how empowering these people were. Not they had a political opinion, they had a social opinion, they had a medical opinion, they had a religious opinion. Opinions matter not if we don't heal.
Yeah, you know, and piggybacking on that. So let's say, for example, somebody is listening to this and they're like, you know what, he's right, and you know what, I am powerful, I am beautiful, I am this, and I am that, and then they say, I'm gonna do this, and to put wound on the salt, like they're working through their past issues, or they think they are, and then they go out and they say, okay, today I'm gonna, you know what, I'm gonna start a home-based business, and I'm gonna do this, and then their mom says, no, you can't do that. Their uncle says, oh, what a waste of time. You've always been a loser. Or their neighbor says, hey, what are you doing? And their friend's like, hey, dude, what are you doing? That is the worst part of it, because it's like a double whammy now. It's basically reinforcing everything that they went through. So knowing that, because you and I have been through some training and we've learned that, and we understand that that's part of healing. What can you tell people? So they're trying to get out of this hole, like, right? You're digging out yourself out of this sand pit, right? That you're sinking in.
Yep.
What can you tell people that they can do today? Say, you know what? I can start doing this today to start thinking a little bit outside the box.
Okay, here it is. And before I get to that practical,
Let's go.
I just want to say, what a great opportunity to heal those moments, because if you do step out again, and those traumas do happen again, you know you're right back to that point as a child that you were. Only this time, you get to rewrite that story.
That's right.
So
Amen to that.
But here's the practical steps. Everyone listening, my dear brothers and sisters, the only benefit from this is your own benefit. So here are the steps. Number 1, take some time, meditate, pray, be quiet, journal, be still. Turn all electronics off and sit. And I want you to go back into your mind, go back in time, and I want you to remember every painful word that was ever spoken to you. Who said it, how old you were, to the best of your memory. And I want you to be as specific as possible. Write it down. When I was 7, my dad called me, this. When I was 17, my dad called me this. My mom, my friend David at school, Jimmy, little Sally, little Billy, whatever. Write them down. Write them down so that you can look at what you've lived with inside you, filed in somewhere for so long. Now you can look at those. So that's step 1. Write down every painful word that was ever spoken to you. Step 2. Right before each of those painful sayings or words or whatever, say, I reject. And you reject, I reject that. I reject that. I reject that. And you have to say it out loud. And, you know, you came to a men's retreat. We talk about PVT, pitch, volume, tone. It's one thing to say no. It's another thing to say no.
No.
It's one thing to say stop. It's another thing. Stop. Pitch, volume, tone matters so much. So when we say I reject, don't say like I reject. You can say it like a volcano, like I reject being called that. That's step 2. So write down the painful word, write down I reject before it. Now, after each of those sayings, so before the saying, you say I reject. After the saying, you say I receive love.
Love that.
I receive love. I receive goodness. I receive truth. I receive validation. I receive affirmation. From what? From whom? From where? Try it and find out.
That's right.
Because love is the natural order of the universe. It is the natural order of our day. It goes in regeneration every single day, dark to light, winter, spring, summer, fall. We always are in this replenishing, but for some reason we've forgotten to replenish our own souls. We've forgotten to replenish our own hearts. We've forgotten to replenish our own minds and bodies.
Yeah.
So the painful words, I reject those words and I receive love. And if every person does that who listens to this, I really do promise you, you will feel an emotional lift. Yes.
It works, man. It works. You know, I'm glad you brought that up. Some good advice for people, and people do it. You know, it really does work. And I know people might feel self-conscious about it, but again, we're here because we're not worried about what people think about us. Because if we worry about what people think about us, we're never going to get to the next step. So in saying all that, Lucas, you know, what's coming to my mind is, in order for us to get to that point, to be able to sit down, close our eyes, look back, write this down, I reject, I love, we need to conquer that fear. There's fear there for just, you know, people are even scared just to sit down and close their eyes, Lucas, right? Yeah. So I want to share a little story with you and kind of why I came to the idea of this video series that I'm doing. Keep moving forward, because I always thought there's light at the end of the tunnel. And let me give you the perfect analogy. So, as you know, I'm a runner, right? I love long distance. I was running from Los Angeles to San Diego. I think it was like 120 miles run. And I'm running down PCH, and I get to Camp Pendleton, and I'm running on, if I'm going south I'm running on the right side of the freeway, and I have to get to the other side of the freeway. And it's 6:30-ish, and the sun is setting, and I get to this tunnel, and I'm getting goosebumps right now because I remember it so vividly. So I show you that's how powerful this was for me. So I get there, and all I see is darkness, right? Nothing but darkness. But I said to myself, I got to get to the other side. So all I see is light, and then it just turns into the abyss. Man, I'll tell you, I'm telling you, I'm feeling it right now as we're speaking. So I'm running, and I said, well, I got to go through. So I get there, and I get there, and I get there, and I get to the crux of it, meaning where it's completely black. If I turn back, there's no light. If I'm looking forward, there's absolutely no light, right? And I'm thinking all kinds of, there's a bear down there, there's a lion. Right? But check this out. That space only lasted a very short time. You know why? Because the next 2 steps that I took, guess what do you think I saw? I saw light all the way down there. It was just a little speck, but there was light at the end of the tunnel. So the way I look at it is, no matter how dark the moment can be, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. So if you're sitting there and you're questioning, should I sit down and write down those painful moments that maybe I got abused, my mom abused me, my dad hit me, my parents passed away, they're sick, whatever it is, if you have the courage to sit down and write those down, and it might feel like you're alone, that's okay, because guess what? Once you write those things down and you start saying, I reject, and I reject, and I reject, guess what happens? The light starts to come. The light comes.
Yes.
So that's what I
That's
want to
right.
share with people. Have the courage to step out of that fear and say, you know what? It's okay to be scared. You're scared anyway. What's the...
That's right. That's right.
I'm
That's
sorry.
right.
Go ahead, Lucas. I don't want to take your time, brother.
No, brother, that is right on. And the people that are dangerous, I think, are the ones that think the ones that act fearless.
Yes.
There's a We're talking about courageousness,
Courageous.
courage.
Courage.
Yes, and I actually um, had the Hebrew term for courage is ametz or ametz lev, meaning strength or heart strength.
Mm,
We need heart strength, which means, yeah, I feel fear, but I will step through anyway.
that's right. Yes.
Yes, it scares me to go back and remember those times I was most terrified, but I'm going to, because I know on the other side of fear, there is love. On the other
Yes.
side of darkness, there is light. On the other side of pain, there is healing. And
Yes.
this, my friends, is the universal. This is not some woo-woo new age narrative. This is the fundamental physical truth of our reality in the universe. When you have pain, your body naturally tends towards life. It tends to heal. It immediately heals. And if you ignore pain in your physical body, you will eventually break it worse, because your body is telling you this is the place that needs healing.
That's right. This is where we need to be. This is where we need the space that we need to be in, is the healing space. You know,
Yes.
speaking about that, you know, the seminar that we did, the two things that we did together was, I remember it takes a lot of courage, and people, I understand it's not easy, but it takes a lot of courage to stand up and acknowledge I'm broken, I'm hurt, I was abused, or whatever the case may be. It takes courage,
Yeah.
and you know, and the beautiful thing about it is that you're not alone, because everybody's hurting. So if you think that you're alone, you know, that billionaire that you know, or that guy that's doing well at work, or the guy who has the nice house and a nice car, believe me, they're in the same boat as you are. So don't feel like you're alone. You know,
Yes.
step out of that fear and into the light. And I think that's the way we start healing and that's the way we change the mindset. That's the way we find the passion. That's the way we find our mission. In your pain is your passion. In
Amen.
your pain is your mission. There's a
Yes.
lot of people out there waiting for you to make a difference in their life. So don't sit there and waste your gift on Netflix, on video games, on overeating, right? On obesity, on high blood pressure, on high cholesterol. Don't waste your gift on those things, because you were meant to do something special. The problem is that you forgot. You forgot you're here to do something special, and we're here to remind you.
Amen, brother. I honor everyone's courage to take the steps to heal. And they're not alone, like you said. They can reach out to you. They can reach out to me. There's vast people. And I would just like to end with, trust is the most important aspect. So if you're not surrounded by people you trust, find people you trust.
Yeah, you know what? You don't have to stay around those people.
Not at all. That is the opposite of freedom. That is the opposite of victory. That is the opposite of living in purpose. You think every single successful person that you value their talents are hanging around with the same naysayers when they were trying to step out and do something? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The circle becomes tighter and smaller, but that's okay, because at the end of the day, what matters most is not what people think of you, but what you know about yourself.
Amen.
And I have learned this. One of the lessons of quarantine is this for me, and I shared this with my wife. May the whole world hate me, but if I am true to myself, may I sleep soundly. I am not looking for you to agree, affirm, like, be not. Look, you got to deal with you. Don't worry so much about my stuff. I need to worry about me. And when we heal as individuals, that is how society heals. That is how the world heals. And the irony right now that we are attacking particular individuals is the detriment to a healthy society for all life, all voices, all peoples.
Amen to that, brother.
Give me your tired, your huddled math, your the Statue of Liberty by Emma Lazarus, that poem that she wrote. Give me your tired and your huddled masses, whatever. Man, you're not alone. There are people who have stood in history to give you that glimmer of hope, that little speck in the tunnel that says, keep going.
Yes. Oh, man, I'll tell you, it's funny you should say that. Today I was talking to a gentleman by the name of Stu Middleman. If you don't know who this guy is, Google him. He is the baddest runner that ever existed on the planet. This guy, 1,000-mile record, 600-mile record, race across America. This guy's just a machine. So he calls me and he's like, hey, Carlos. And I'm like, oh, I haven't talked to him in years. And I told him, I said, you were my inspiration. You were my spec. You were my reason for not quitting at 125 miles, for running 175, for doing this, for just doing crazy stuff. You were and he sat there and he said, Carlos, what you're telling me now is so much more important than anything that I've ever done. And I'm like, it just blew me away, man. There's people out there that you are their spark. You're their spark. So don't quit. Lucas, really quickly, man, can you tell people 3 things that you do on a daily basis to keep that mindset going, man?
First thing, the most important thing, and I'm going to say it. I also want to qualify it. You don't have to have a belief in God to say what I'm about to say. Okay. My number one thing, but I encourage everyone to say it. My number one thing is the Moadani, which is a Jewish prayer that you pray before you even leave your bed, which is, and this is what I say every single morning. I thank you, God, for returning my soul within me with compassion and loving kindness, for great is your faithfulness. I give thanks for my family, my wife and children. I give thanks for my house. I give thanks for my bed. I go through, I don't move until I literally give thanks from all things that I can rest in. So I give thanks, and then I get out of bed, and that's when the affirmations begin. I am a loving, kind, powerful leader. I am safe. I am loved. I am free. I'm abundant. I am powerful.
Yes, you are.
All these things, and I start just dropping. And so 3 things, I say that prayer of gratitude, being grateful that I even can breathe. The crazy thing is we check out and go to sleep at night. Where are we? We're just like,
where do we go?
And then we wake up like that was no big deal. That is what is happening? This don't take for granted these miracles that happen.
I love that.
Day, right?
Like I just left and I came back.
Yeah, I came back and it's day and it's light. So I give thanks, then I say affirmations, and then I go right into reading. I read all sorts. I'm reading Jocko Willink's latest book. I just finished, like I said, the Satanic Bible, and I know people are like, what the? Hey, I read all text, the Quran, all Jewish safers, the Christian classics, politics, business, left, right, all things, because guess what? I like information. And if knowledge is power, may we all strive to be the most powerful, not for others, but for ourselves. Amen. So that when someone comes with an opposing opinion, it's like, cool, thanks. Not relevant, doesn't land, I'm continuing on.
But we can do it respectfully.
That's right, with love and kindness. That's
Man,
right.
Lucas, I want to thank you so much, brother. I love you for that. I appreciate it.
You.
Can you tell us how we can find you on social media?
Hey, yes. Please follow me, reach out, message me. I have conversations with all sorts, all types from all over the world. At Lucas James Mack on Instagram, at Lucas James Mack on Twitter, Lucas Mack on Facebook, and then lucasmack.com. And then also the Golden Rule Revolution podcast on any podcast platform that people listen to podcasts on.
I love it, man. Lucas, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it, brother. You are somebody I definitely look up to. I appreciate it and I love, man. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you soon, my friend. Take care.
Thank you, brother.